The Mariners spring training is in session. Julio is starving off of his sophomore slump year, in which he finished fourth in MVP votes. Welcome back to another episode of the Seattle Sports Show, where we love Seattle pro sports. I'm your host, Mikey, and today we are talking about the Mariners. Spring training has started. Everybody's reported they're getting their training in. We've seen some batting practices, we've seen pitchers pitching. It's a good time of year right now to get right back into baseball and be excited for the season upcoming. But while we're in training, let's talk about some things that have come out of training and a little bit of the offseason in general. First up, we got to talk about Julio Rodriguez. He is hashtag starving. You may have seen that while the Super Bowl was on. After the Super Bowl ended, he was there. He was at the stadium. He was watching live, and he took a picture on his phone after the Chiefs won, and they were on the field celebrating. And he took that picture, posted it to his social media, and says, "I want to know what that feels like." Hashtag starving. And people interpreted this in many different ways. Some people thinking maybe it was a slight against the Mariners for not getting him enough pieces last year to get there. I didn't take it that way. I took it as, oh, this guy is seeing what it's like to celebrate a championship live. He's seeing players celebrate winning and being at the top of their game. He wants to know what that feels like. He just wants it. He's in the moment. He sees how awesome that is for those players, and he wants to experience that himself. I don't think he had any secret agenda there, especially when you hear his comments that he's made during spring training and other news that has come out since spring training has started. One, we could talk about his little press conference with the media, where he talked about this year being a sophomore slump for him, and he talked about how he knows that nobody, or he knows how people get frustrated when he had times in the season last year where he was not playing up to his potential. Right? And he says, but nobody gets as frustrated as he does at himself when he's playing poorly, because he knows what he wants for himself. He knows what he expects for himself. And, so there's nobody's going to hold him to a higher standard than himself, because he believes in himself that much and knows that he can be better. And again, a year in which he finished fourth in MVP voting, he's talking about, like, yes, that was a sophomore slumpy year for me, going into his third year now. He talked about how last year he felt like there was times where he failed, and what he took from that was those were things that he needed to learn, and now he's learned those things, and the next step is to grow, to work on it and get better. And that's what he's been working on this this offseason, and hoping that he's going to be even better this coming year. Again, we're talking about people saying he's a sophomore slump himself. Uh, titling last year as sophomore slump, in which it was a year that he finished fourth in MVP voting. Okay. Yeah. So that is exciting to hear. Just to hear Julio talk with the way he does about, with the passion that he has for baseball, the passion that he has for the fans. That is something that is, rare to see. You're gonna get interviews with players across all different sports where, and quite recently, just where they just tuning out the fans. They don't care about the fans. They're just there to do a job, right? For Julio, the way he expresses his love about baseball, his love of the fans who support him, it's just different. Um, and the hunger that he has, the work ethic that he has, and the passion that he has for it is what leads me to believe that he is going to be even better this year than he was last year. Again, we'll mention it here as well. He finished. He didn't finish. Sorry, he did finish fourth in the MVP voting, but going into this year, based off of what he did last year, MLB has him ranked as the 10th best player overall in Major League Baseball. They came out with their list of the top 100 players, and of course, they were going 10 at a time, as they were releasing it over a number of days, and Julio's name kept not being on there. So, okay, well, he's definitely not going to be below 100. So they're going to get there eventually. They got through 11 through 20. Still, name wasn't on there. So you go, okay, he's going to be ranked in the top 10. Let's see how far he is up there. And he ended up being number 10. Okay. Think about that. Last year, he ranked going into the season, after just his rookie year, he ranked number 16. After his sophomore year, in which he himself called it a sophomore slump, he is now going into his third year, going up in the rankings and ranked number 10 overall in Major League Baseball. That is just amazing stuff, right? I mean, if he goes on the same trajectory that he did from his rookie year to his sophomore year, then you are talking about a guy that's going to be finishing even higher in MVP votings. Because again, for himself to call this slump, but to move up in the rankings and to still put up the numbers that he put up, then again, 32 homers, 37 steals. It's you don't get a lot of people in the 30-30 club that often these days, right? So I think he can match his numbers that he put up last year, no problem. Because again, there was times where he struggled, and there was periods of the season where he just looked like an average player instead of the MVP caliber player that he is. And I just believe that he's done the work this offseason that will make him even more consistent than he was last year. And just quickly looking at the players above him, at 9 they had Garrett Cole. 8 they had Yordan Alvarez. 7 they had Juan Soto. 6 Corey Seager. 5 Freddie Freeman. 4 Shohei Ohtani. 3 Aaron Judge. 2 Mookie Betts. And 1 Ronald Acuna Jr. So being ranked in the top 10, he's obviously in very good company. And I can easily see him having, uh, you know, a better year than some of these guys that are ranked ahead of him in the top 10 right now. So I think he will definitely be in the race for MVP this year. And if that is the case, that means the Mariners will be in the race for the playoffs and hopefully a World Series uh, in general. All right, so there you go. There's Julio. That's what we got out of Julio so far. Again, spring training, it's just starting. People are just getting there, just reporting, and they're just getting this started. So we'll get more. Some moves that we can talk about that were made prior to camp starting is Levi Stout was claimed off of waivers from the Reds. So the deal that got, he was part of the deal that got us Luis Castillo. Now, just whatever was going on over there with the Reds, it caused him to take a step back. Where when he was with us originally, he was one of our top prospects, right? I mean, we had to give up prospects to get Luis Castillo, a Cy Young candidate guy. So we gave him up. He took a step back. So they designated him for a sign, but we're able to claim him off waivers. He sounds happy to be here. The Mariners sound like they're happy to have him back, and you know how the Mariners do with pitching. It sounds like they're going to be able to get him back on track, and he'll be again some depth that we needed, because you just never know what's going to happen to pitchers' arms throughout a season. So we were looking a little bit thin before for depth, but that will definitely give us a little bit of cushion should we need somebody at some point during the season. There was a short-lived story of Kanan Smith and Jigba coming here, being claimed off of waivers from the Pirates. Well, when we picked up Stout, we designated Kanan Smith and Jigba for assignment, and the Pirates went ahead and picked him back up from us. So it was a fun little moment, just a fun little headline for the very short-lived amount of time that it was that the Smith and Jigba brothers were in the same city together. It just wasn't really meant to be, I guess. Let's see here. Let's talk about some other things that we got during this spring training time. Ty France, with his little interview press conference session, talked about his time working this offseason at Driveline, and talked about how he never realized how messed up mechanically his swing was. He was somebody who was self-taught. His swing, never really went to training or had a coaching, somebody fixing stuff for him. Now, after last year taking a step back, he went to Driveline with JP and worked on some things mechanically, and he said, he gets it. He's working on it. There's still some things he's going to keep from his old swing, but he's can see the things that were bad habits before that he's taken out of his swing, and he's added 3.5 miles per hour to his swing. That is something that is going to be exciting to see. Just imagine how hard he's going to be hitting that ball when he's getting to it with that bat speed. The exit velocity of those balls. Oh, it's gonna be fun. I can just imagine Ty France having a bounce back here this year. Just that alone, as well, is going to be a big difference for the Mariners. I mean, if JP can, just get somewhere close to what he did last year, Julio stays consistent all year long. Same with Cal Raleigh. Ty France, if he steps it back up to what he was the previous year, then my goodness, uh, with the pieces that they added now with Garver, um, you know, drawing a blank, but you know what I mean. Um, we are really looking at a a team that could be doing damage if he's if if Ty France is going to be contributing like we expected him to. Yeah. Yeah, Mitch Garver, Jorge Polanco. That's I don't know why I couldn't think of his name, but yeah, that's the other name I was thinking of. But yeah, imagine all those guys now together, and hopefully being consistent throughout the year. Let's see here. What else did I want to hit on? Um, Cal Raleigh. He was on KJR uh, interview, and the thing to take about out of this one was him talking about wanting to be a Mariner for life. That would has always been a dream of his, is being drafted by a team and then sticking with that one team throughout his whole career, because that's a hard thing to do. And normally that would signify that a player who does that, they're normally Hall of Fame legendary type of player. We all know his agent Scott Boras, so he said all those nice things about wanting to be with the Mariners for life, but then at the end he did say it is out of his control. So that that tells you that yes, his agent is not going to let him just sign a new contract without going to free agency and testing what that's like and seeing just how much money is he going to get. Okay, so that's what those are the main topics I wanted to hit on out of spring training camp right now. I think before we head out of here, there was one other thing that I wanted to mention that's just fun for us fans, because again, that's what this is about. This is about the fans, and opening week warm up has been announced. This is replacement for what used to be Fan Fest. It's not quite Fan Fest, but still, this is something for the fans, which is great to see them bring back. So this is going to be Sunday, March 24th, of course, at T-Mobile Park. I'm going to read their little blurb that they have about it. They say, "Gear up for the 2024 season with our opening week warm up presented by Starbucks. While the squad squares off against the Cubs in Peoria, you can enjoy behind the scenes access at T-Mobile Park, the chance to meet Mariners legends and future stars, and more. Check out all the details below." Sunday, March 24th at T-Mobile Park. Tickets are $10, but free for kids 14 and under. Parking will be $10 in the Mariners garage while spaces last. So if you're worried about paying for a huge amount of parking fees, that's a day where it's actually going to be reasonable. Only $10, as long as you get there early enough to get a space, because this is something I'm guessing fans are going to want to be at, especially with the cost of tickets being just $10. And we'll get to what's going to be there in just a moment. So, what you need to know is that gates open at 11 a.m. for season ticket members. They will open at 12 p.m. for all fans. So if you're a season ticket member, you can get in at 11. For everybody else, we'll be able to get in at 12. And then the event will conclude at 4 p.m. For note, for every one purchase ticket, you can have 4 free kid tickets. So what's going to happen here? Your one of the events will be watching the Mariners take on the Cubs. So you watch the squad on the big screen as they face off against Chicago Cubs down at spring training in Arizona. Because yes, the team will actually be in Arizona for preseason spring training game. First pitch will be at 1:10 p.m. So the players aren't going to actually be there, but you'll be able to watch the game. And what's going to happen though? They're going to have meet alumni, future stars, and the Mariner Moose. So there's going to be autograph sessions. They haven't announced who's going to be there, but there's going to be autograph sessions, photo ops, and meet and greets. So, even without knowing who's going to be there, it's still, an exciting thing. I think, especially for this is to me, it's really aimed at kids, right? I mean, I've taken my kids to Mariners games, I've taken them to Aqua Sox games. To them, just seeing a baseball player live is pretty cool. I've gotten them onto the field at Mariners games to walk the bases, Aqua Sox games to walk the bases, and autograph sessions both places. Guess what? They didn't feel any less excited about getting to get a picture and talk with a player or get an autograph from a player from the Aqua Sox than they did with the Mariners. Like my 4-year-old and 6-year-old, they didn't know the difference. They were just excited. They were talking to a professional baseball player that they just watched play, and that's fun for them. So even if they're not going to have all the current guys there because they're actually at a training game, then I think it's still going to be fun for the kids. And who knows? Maybe they do get some fun players from us parents from our age, and we'll be excited to see those players as well. Big league opportunities is their next section. They're going to have an activity where you get to pitch in the bullpen. They're going to have the run the bases, of course, and they'll have a thing where you can go sit in the dugout, and they'll have behind the scenes access where the Mariners clubhouse. You'll get to tour the clubhouse to see where the players get ready for every home game. You'll get to see the Muckleshoot interview room. Check out where every news conference takes place, and then you'll get a tour of premium spaces. So you visit recently renovated premium areas of the ballpark. And then they want you to know that there's also the value menu that's coming out this year, and being at the opening week warm up will be the first opportunity to try the 2024 value meal. Value menu and beer lineup. So they're going to have value menu and beer. And then the team store, of course, is going to be open. They're going to have a sidewalk sale and the new lineup of the 2024 gear. Maybe you want some hats. You probably don't want the jerseys, right? Everybody's been talking about how bad the Fanatics jerseys are this year, and everybody's seen the pictures of them and how just like bad they look, how cheap they look, how the lettering and numbering is like so far off. It's bad. But anyways, back to this fun event for fans. I think that's going to be really exciting, and it'll be a fun thing to bring the kids out to if you're free to do that day. And okay, I think we covered everything here. Comment if you're watching this on YouTube. Let me know how excited are you for some sort of fan event at least coming back for the Mariners. Maybe not be exactly what Fan Fest was, but this is at least something for the fans to go and enjoy. And again, for me, somebody with 5 kids, this is something that I'm very interested in because I think it's a fun event for them and a fun experience. And you know, the other thing I want you to comment on is spring training in general and Julio Rodriguez's comments. Do you think last year was a sophomore slump? And if it was, do you think he's going to get over it? And do you see the MVP potential in Julio this year? All right, those are all things I want to know, and I want you to hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, so you know when all the new episodes come up. Because I've been putting out a lot now lately. I want you to head over to Apple Podcasts, subscribe, leave a 5-star rating and a written review on Spotify. Hit that follow button. And then any other podcasts, just make sure you hit the follow or subscribe, whatever you need to do. Okay. And thank you so much for listening to the Seattle Sports Show, where we watch legends awaken. So take cover, because with a sea of sound, you will see us rise to reign supreme and win forever.